Hey, beautiful souls, welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into God's design for love, relationships, and the incredible power He's placed within you. Before we jump in, if this message resonates with your heart, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because I'm here to pour into your life every single week with biblical truth that will transform how you love and how you're loved today. We're talking about something that's going to shift everything you thought you knew about connection and influence. In relationships, you see, there's one thing, just one simple, powerful thing, that when you do it consistently, it creates such a profound impact that the person you love literally cannot imagine their tomorrow without you in it. This isn't manipulation, beloved. This isn't some worldly trick or psychological game. This is walking in the fullness of who God created you to be as a woman made in His image, carrying His heart, His love, His very essence into every relationship you touch. When you understand what I'm about to share with you, you'll never question your worth again. You'll never wonder if you're enough. You'll never settle for breadcrumbs when God has prepared a feast. By the end of this video, you're going to have 6 powerful keys that will revolutionize not just your romantic relationships, but every connection in your life. So grab your journal, get comfortable, and let's unlock the mystery of irresistible, godly influence together. Number 1, you became their safe harbor in life's storms. Listen to me. Beautiful daughter of the King, when you learn to become someone's safe harbor, you become irreplaceable in their life. Jesus said in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." When you carry this heart of Christ, you become a place where people can exhale, where they can drop their masks, where they can simply be. This world is harsh. People are walking around wounded, pretending they have it all together, carrying burdens that are crushing their spirits. But when you show up as someone who doesn't judge, who doesn't criticize, who doesn't add to their stress, when you become that person who brings peace instead of chaos, you become absolutely essential to their emotional well-being. I'm not talking about becoming a doormat or a people pleaser. I'm talking about cultivating the presence of Christ within you so powerfully that when people are around you, they feel what David felt when he wrote Psalm 23. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. You become their green pastures. You become their quiet waters. You become the place where their soul finds restoration. When someone finds this in you, they don't just want you in their life, they need you in their life. Because in a world full of people who tear down, criticize, and add pressure, you've become the rare soul who builds up, affirms, and brings rest. This is the heart of the Proverbs 31 woman who opens her mouth with wisdom, and the law of kindness is on her tongue. When you speak life instead of death, hope instead of despair, peace instead of anxiety, you become someone they literally cannot imagine facing tomorrow without. Your presence becomes their sanctuary, and sanctuaries are treasured, protected, and never abandoned. Div. Number 2, you saw their potential when everyone else saw their problems below. One of the most powerful things you can do for another human being is to see them not as they are, but as God sees them, full of potential, full of purpose, destined for greatness. When the woman at the well met Jesus, He didn't focus on her 5 failed marriages or her current living situation. He saw a woman who would become an evangelist to her entire city. When Jesus called Peter, He didn't focus on his impulsiveness or his tendency to put his foot in his mouth. He saw a rock upon which He would build His church. When you develop the ability to see people through God's eyes, you become absolutely irreplaceable in their life. Think about it. Most people in their life probably focus on their flaws, their mistakes, their shortcomings. Their family might criticize them. Their friends might point out what they're doing wrong. Society tells them they're not enough. But then you come along carrying the heart of the Father, and you see their gifts. You see their calling. You see their calling. You see their potential. You speak life over their dreams when others call them foolish. You encourage their vision when others say it's impossible. When someone finds a person who believes in them more than they believe in themselves, who sees gold where others see dirt, who calls out their greatness when they can only see their weaknesses, that person becomes absolutely essential to their emotional and spiritual survival. You become their biggest cheerleader, their most trusted counselor, their source of hope. When the world tells them to give up, you become the voice of God in their life, speaking identity and destiny over them. 1 Thessalonians 5:11 says, "Therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing." When you master this art of seeing and speaking potential, you don't just impact their present, you shape their future. They can't imagine tomorrow without you because you're the one who helped them believe tomorrow was possible in the first place. Number 3, you loved them at their worst without trying to fix them. This is where most people get it wrong. Beautiful. They think love means trying to fix everyone, trying to change them, trying to make them better. But the love that makes you irreplaceable is the love that accepts completely while still believing in growth. Romans 5:8 tells us, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." God loved us at our worst, not to keep us there, but to give us the security we needed to grow. When you love someone through their worst season without withdrawing your love, without giving them the silent treatment, without threatening to leave, without trying to fix them or change them, when you simply love them steady and strong, you become absolutely irreplaceable. I'm not talking about enabling destructive behavior or staying in abusive situations. I'm talking about loving someone through their process, through their healing, through their growth season, without making your love conditional on their perfection. Most people have experienced conditional love their entire lives. Love that says, "I'll love you if you change this, if you fix that, if you become what I want you to be." But when you show up with the love of Christ that says, "I love you exactly as you are, and I believe in who you're becoming," you give them something they've never experienced before. You become their safe place to be human. You become their safe place to struggle. You become their safe place to grow without fear of abandonment. When someone knows they can bring their worst day, their biggest failure, their deepest struggle to you and still be received with love, when they know your love isn't going anywhere, regardless of what they're walking through, you become absolutely essential to their emotional security. They can't imagine tomorrow without you, because you've proven that your love doesn't waver with their circumstances. And that kind of love is rarer than diamonds in this world. Number 4, you celebrated their victories, like they were your own. One of the most beautiful things about the body of Christ is found in 1 Corinthians 12:26. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. When you learn to celebrate others' victories with genuine joy, as if they were your own victories, you become someone absolutely essential to their happiness and success. Most people struggle with envy, jealousy, or competition, even in their closest relationships. When someone they love succeeds, there's often a part of them that feels threatened or left behind. But when you develop the heart of Christ that genuinely rejoices in others' blessings, you become irreplaceable. Think about how it feels when someone is genuinely excited about your good news. Not fake excited, not secretly jealous, but truly, deeply happy for your success. That person becomes precious to you because they've proven they're for you, not in competition with you. When you celebrate their promotion like it's your promotion, their breakthrough like it's your breakthrough, their answered prayer like it's your answered prayer, you become their greatest ally in life. You become the person they want to call first with good news because they know you'll match their excitement. You become the person they want to share their dreams with because they know you'll cheer them on. You become the person they want in their corner because they know you're genuinely rooting for their success. Proverbs 17:22 says, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." When you learn to be that cheerful heart that brings medicine to their soul through celebration, you become essential to their emotional well-being. They can't imagine achieving victory without you there to celebrate it with them. They can't imagine success without your voice cheering them on. You become not just their supporter, but their partner in joy, and that bond becomes unbreakable. Your genuine celebration of their wins creates a partnership that goes beyond romance. It creates spiritual and emotional intimacy that cannot be easily replaced. Number 5, you brought out the best version of themselves without demanding it. Here's something powerful. Beloved daughter, when you create an atmosphere where someone naturally becomes their best self without pressure or demands, you become absolutely irreplaceable in their life. Jesus did this beautifully with his disciples. He didn't demand they be perfect. He created an atmosphere of love, acceptance, and growth that naturally brought out their potential. Peter became bold, not because Jesus demanded boldness, but because being around Jesus created an environment where boldness could flourish. When you learn to create this kind of atmosphere in relationships, you become someone they literally cannot live without because you bring out parts of themselves they didn't even know existed. This isn't about manipulation or trying to change someone. This is about carrying such a pure heart, such genuine love, such authentic faith that being around you naturally inspires people to rise higher. When you speak words of life, when you believe the best about people, when you create space for growth without judgment, when you model the love of Christ consistently, something supernatural happens. People start becoming who God created them to be. They become more generous around your generosity. They become more loving around your love. They become more faithful around your faithfulness. They become more joyful around your joy. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." But this isn't harsh sharpening through criticism or demands. This is gentle sharpening through inspiration and example. When someone realizes that they like who they are when they're with you, that they feel more alive, more hopeful, more like their true self in your presence, you become absolutely essential to their happiness and growth. They can't imagine tomorrow without you, because tomorrow without you means going back to a lesser version of themselves. You've become not just their partner, but their catalyst for becoming everything God created them to be. This is the power of influence through inspiration rather than intimidation, and it creates a bond that cannot be broken because you're not just connected to who they are, you're connected to who they're becoming. Number 6, you prayed for them when they couldn't pray for themselves, sweet sister. This is perhaps the most powerful thing you can do for another human being. Stand in the gap for them in prayer when they don't have the strength, faith, or words to stand there themselves. In Exodus 17, when the Israelites were fighting the Amalekites, Moses stood on the mountain with his hands raised in prayer. When his hands were up, Israel prevailed. When his hands grew heavy and came down, the enemy began to win. Aaron and Hur had to hold up Moses' hands to ensure victory. When you become someone's Aaron and Hur in prayer, holding up their hands when they're too weak to hold them up themselves, you become absolutely irreplaceable in their life. There are seasons in every person's life when they lose faith, when they can't find words to pray, when they're too broken, too confused, too overwhelmed to connect with God. But when you step into that gap and carry them in prayer, you become their lifeline to heaven. You pray for their healing when they've given up hope. You pray for their breakthrough when they can't see past their circumstances. You pray for their protection when they're walking through danger. You pray for their restoration when they feel too far gone to come back. James 5:16 tells us, "The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective." When your prayers become the bridge between their need and God's provision, when your intercession becomes the catalyst for their breakthrough, you become absolutely essential to their spiritual survival. They begin to see that their victories are connected to your prayers. Their breakthroughs happen when you're standing in the gap. Their peace comes when you're petitioning heaven on their behalf. This creates a spiritual bond that goes beyond the natural realm. You become their prayer warrior, their spiritual covering, their connection to God when they feel disconnected. When someone knows you're fighting for them in the heavenly realm, when they know you're standing before the throne of grace on their behalf, when they experience breakthrough after breakthrough because of your faithful intercession, they can't imagine facing tomorrow without you. You become their spiritual anchor, their connection to heaven, their reminder that God hasn't forgotten them because you never stop talking to God about them. Beautiful daughters of the King, these 6 keys aren't just relationship advice, they're a blueprint for walking in the fullness of who God created you to be. When you become someone's safe harbor, when you see their potential, when you love them at their worst, when you celebrate their victories, when you inspire their best self, and when you stand in the gap for them in prayer, you don't just become someone they love, you become someone they literally cannot imagine life without. This is the power of godly influence. This is the power of Christ-like love. This is the power of walking in your divine femininity as a daughter of the Most High God. You are not called to chase anyone or beg anyone to choose you. You are called to become so rooted in God's love, so secure in His purpose for your life, so full of His Spirit that you naturally become irreplaceable to those He brings into your path. If this message touched your heart, hit that subscribe button and share this with another woman who needs to be reminded of her incredible power and purpose in relationships. Remember, beloved, you are not too much. You are not enough. You are exactly who God created you to be. And the right people will recognize your worth and treasure your presence in their lives. Keep walking in love, keep growing in grace, and keep believing that your best days are ahead of you. I'll see you in the next video, beautiful. Until then, remember that you are loved, you are chosen, and you are absolutely irreplaceable in the kingdom of God.